Hello everyone. Now we will talk about how we can contribute to OSM. What are the basic requirements? First of all, we require an Atici online account or an individual contributor account, and we need to prepare our environment. We need to test before committing or change, and finally we can contribute or change. How to get its online account or individual contributor account? If we are developing on behalf of a company, we require its online account. Probably our company is already registered as OSM member. If our company is not registered yet, there is a link here, osm.org, how to join. We can go there and our company can become a participant or OSM member. Our company has already joined OSM, and we don't have an Atici online account. We can request an Atici online account going to the link portal.atici.org, create account, and we can get an Atici online account. If we are an individual contributor, we can just register using that link, https osm.org register. So if you need any help, you can also contact with osmsupport.atici.org. The second step is configuring our environment. You already know we require Git, and we need to configure our environment to set up our account. We are recommending to use an SSH key because this is more secure and this is a better way than providing the password each time. So what we can do, first we can create an SSH key. If we create it, there is a simple command to create it, and we will also explain this in the later session. We will get a private key and a public key. Then we need to add our public key to our Gerrit. You can see the link, osm.org Gerrit settings. We can go to SSH keys, and there is a place there we can click the add public key and paste our public key. Then now we add our public key to Gerrit. Later, we need to configure a config file, which is under .ssh under config. We need to write those contents by replacing our user in here. Your Atici user should be your own user. Then you can test your connection. You can test if you can reach osm.atici.org without expecting any credentials from you. So this is how you can configure the SSH key. There is also other options. You can, if you try to push something, you can always provide your username and password, but this is not recommended because you need to write your password again and again. This way is recommended. How to configure your Git? You can configure your Git, your username, your username, and the email. There are just 3 simple lines in here. You can configure them globally, or you can restrict them. You can just use --local to restrict them to the directory that you are using. After setting your user name and email, you can just check git config --list, and you will see a sample output like this. It means you configured to use your account, the username and the email. Now we set up our Git, and we are ready to work on a project. We can clone the projects by directly going to the Gerrit projects page. You can click the link, osm.org Gerrit admin projects, and under that link, you will see the page clone with commit message hook. You can click this and you can copy. Then you can clone the project directly. This is one of the options. you need to do this for each project. You can go to project and copy it for each project. The recommended way to clone your project is using a small script. As you see in the slide, you can create a directory. We are calling it OSM directory, and you can write your branch that you would like to use. It's master. In here you can update it, and you can write your username. It's online account username or individual contributor username. Then if you run this small script, it will clone all the repositories in Gerrit to your local environment. Work in your environment. Now you got the projects. You are in a project and you like to develop. First, we need to check the README file in that project because we need to understand how we can work that project. There are beneficial explanations there. We are recommending to use VS Code, but of course you can prefer other IDEs that you are already using and you are familiar. In release 14 and after release 14, we are using Python 3.10. You need to have Python 3.10 if you would like to work that version, but for the previous versions, you can use Python 3.8. If you don't have Python 3.10 in your environment, you can just follow the links to install Python according to your operating system. If you are using Ubuntu, you can follow that link, and if you are using Windows 10 or 11, you can follow that link. There are just some steps to install Python. Optionally, sometimes you may require to install the project requirements, the required libraries. We recommend you to install them in a virtual environment. After creating a virtual environment, you can install the project requirements. In a project, there are different requirements txt, requirements dev txt, and test txt could be installed by using that command. Testing before committing. Now we made some modifications, we fixed a problem. We would like to commit this, but we need to be sure that our change does not break anything, it works well. So we need to test this. We can test this locally by running a small script. Each project have a stage test sh script under DevOps stage directory in the module. You can first run this script and it will perform the test for code formatting, code linting, and coverage, and all the unit tests are also run. Then you call this script. Equivalent of the script is running on the talks. It also runs all those tests. If your commit, if your change past these stages, then you are safe and you can commit your change to remotely. However, if they are not passed, probably the Jenkins pipeline also give you a -2 because your change is already validated in Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, and you need to correct it again and push it again. So just do it once, first test it, then commit. We explained that we can run a script to test our change, but for some situations, running those scripts may not be enough. We may require to run some integration tests, end-to-end robot tests. We are calling them end-to-end robot tests. So there is already a prepared image to run this robot test. The image is under open source manual tests, and we can call this with testing daily. We can run a Docker container by providing the environment config RC and the close YAML. Then we can run the sanity test, which validates your change, does not break anything, and your also end-to-end robot tests are passed by running those containers. Of course, just this information may not be enough. You can wonder how I can provide those clothes YAMLs and environment config RC. Please go to the link here, OSM or GitLab OSM test, readme MD, and you will see more information how to provide those configuration files. Contribute your change. We test locally. We run end-to-end robot tests. They are all passed. Are we ready? Not yet. We need to add Apache license to the header of all the new files. First, we need to check that if we add a new file. If we add a new file, is this file had a Apache license? Why we need this license? This license allows user to use that software for any purpose to distribute it and modify it. So this is the open source project, and each file needs to include this Apache license. Release notes. Release notes is not obligatory for all the projects, but it's nice to have. Just arrow and common makes the release notes mandatory for all the changes. For arrow and common, for all the projects, actually you can run same, but now only arrow and common asks release notes for you. You can run talk/e release notes and a descriptive keyword here. What's release note about? Then it will create release notes file for you. You can go to, in your module, you can go to release notes folder, and you will see the YAML, which is created with this single line comment. And you can fill this file, what you did, what's your change about, and you edit your release. Commit your changes to your local repository. Now we can stage all the new files. We can add all the changes by using git add file name. Then we can commit the change to our local repository using git commit -s, means sign it, -m creates a new commit ID, and the name of what we did, actually the description of the change or feature, what it is about. If we use -s, your commit will end up with signed off and signed off by your developer name and email. Now we can push our contribution to remote repository. OSM use Gerrit as a code review tool, and before pushing our contribution to Gerrit, we need to use a rebase, git pull -- rebase, because while we are working on a project, working on a commit, probably the project could be updated. The other people already pushed some commits, so we need to be sure that we are working on the latest version of this repository. So we can just run this git pull -- rebase to get all the latest changes to our environment. Then we can push our contribution using git push origin. Headrest for master is the branch. It could be any branch in here. Then we will see our contribution on Gerrit web interface. You can follow the link, OSM Atici org Gerrit status open, or contribution will be in that user interface. After we send our contribution, Gerrit will send email notification regarding with the change. The notification will be sent to the owner, the reviewers, if we had any reviewer, and the people who follows the project. And Jenkins will validate the change, run all the tests on it, and if there is an error happens, it could not pass the pipeline. Otherwise, or validation or change will be validated, and Jenkins will mark it with verified +1. Then the code will be reviewed, and it is expected to get a +2 to be merged. Additionally, you can also check the developer guide. how to amend the change or recontribute it using the following link under developer guide again. And there is also other way to push and review or changes using Git review. We didn't talk about it at the moment. This is an alternative way to push or change. You can also follow that link to see the details. And regarding with the robot test, you can check the test repository README file. Thank you.